All righty. Here we go. Live webinar. And Lachlan, I want to turn my speakers here. I'm getting a little reverberation. That's what happens when you test these things. Okay, welcome. Your year, your life, 2023. Great to have you guys here. I can see folks rolling in. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. You can see the chat bar on the right, and I'll get to most of the questions towards the end of the show. But I just want to welcome you to this live YouTube webinar. So I've got some notes down below me on my computer. So my eyes will dip down so I can take a look at them as we go. But I want to welcome you, and thanks for joining. I'm excited. I'm nervous. Haven't done a live webinar before. I have gone live with my Master Your Money last year. And I'm going to put this out there and keep myself accountable. I'm going to start doing a weekly live event. So most of them will be Master Your Money. And I'll be adding more videos. I took a bit of a hiatus over Christmas because I was pretty burnt out from last year. There was a lot of content generated. We did close to 50 videos last year, plus working on a book, working on online courses, coaching, and we have a corporate program that we've been working on with a number of big organizations in Asia, and we're expanding hopefully into Canada and the US in 2023. So on that note, let's move right in. This is an interactive webinar. I want you to learn, I want you to have some fun, but I really want you to submit some comments, any reactions, thumbs up, hearts, all of that stuff. And it's going to be recorded. So if you have to check out early, or if you've come in late, well, if you come in late, you won't hear this. But if you check out early, it'll be available on YouTube on the Mad Success channel. Right, so let's keep rolling. So a little bit about myself. I am the host today, Lachlan Campbell. I'm solo mio today, no guest speaker. I had a 30-year career in finance. And so when I left full-time work, I have become a professional coach, what I deem a life success coach. And what that means, it's more around, life coaches really focus on the aspect of how you transform your life, which was what I do. But I also add in the financial component because so many of us struggle with money. And so as part of that, I'm a financial educator. And you can see on my YouTube videos and courses that are coming and so on, this is where a passion of mine lies. But it's really that 30-year career underpins my ability to speak the languages of money, right? Accounting and finance and investing and economics and so on. So I've combined those in a way that I think is unique in helping people really look at their financial health along with their mental, emotional, spiritual, and my friend Nate helps me with the physical health and really putting programs together for this year. Nate and I are going live in February. Nate Solia from the Elite Personal Training in Hong Kong. He and I are partnering to bring a more holistic health to people. So we've got life coaching, physical coaching, and financial coaching, which I think will be quite exciting. So that's coming up. So some fun facts. Many years ago, pre-kids, when I could afford it, I used to race cars. Not full-time. It was a hobby. I raced Formula 2000. So one of my claims to fame was being in the pre-race to the very first Formula One in Shanghai and getting to see a lot of the famous racers back then, like Michael Schumacher and others, David Coulthard and so on, racing. And a lot of them were walking the track a couple days before the event. And we were out walking the track, checking all the corners, and got to see these guys and talk to a few of them. So it was pretty exciting. I acted on television. Yes, I spent some time in Hollywood. And I didn't work with her. I was an extra on stage with Madonna in a live audience on Will and Grace. So that was pretty cool. And I just finished this past weekend with my son. He's 17. We became rescue divers. And so we're scuba divers. And we took that up during COVID for 2 years of lockdown here in Hong Kong. And we've completed the rescue diver course. So we were told the next step would be dive masters. And that's the first level of professional diving, but I'm not sure we're going to go there. But now we can save you if we dive together. All right. So today, getting on to it, I have an agenda of 6 points that I want to go through today. And so for the webinar today, I'm hoping to have this all wrapped up in probably about 45 minutes. So it won't take too long, but I want to leave some room for questions at the end. So if you're putting your questions into YouTube, I'll go and look at those and answer those. I'll answer anything to do with the webinar or anything to do with finance or coaching or what have you. So if you have questions, please put them to the comment section and I'll get to those. So we're going to start with foundations, and what those are kind of tips and tricks about how you can really look at your life. You know, a lot of us really struggle with goal setting and planning, and we have really good intentions, but then we don't execute. Or we do for a little while and then it stops. So look at the statistics around New Year's resolutions. And the reason I didn't do this on December 27th and preparing you for the new year is so many people have these kind of vague idea, I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to get a new job, or I'm going to make some changes, but they're not clear. And I'm not going to go into what SMART goals are, because most of you have heard about those: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. But goals do need to be SMART. They do need to be clear. And so this isn't really a goal-setting course. For me, it's more about a journey of self-reflection. And talk about that. So what does that mean? Well, a journey of self-reflection, when we look at this agenda, we're going to have these foundational points. And I've learned a lot of the foundation work from my mentor, Dean Graziosi, and as well from Tony Robbins, who are, two of the world's top coaches. And they've certainly helped me in a number of areas in my life. And so what I'm looking at is we connect with you. What does that mean? So you're connecting with yourself. It's all about who you're being as a person and self-love, and really looking into that, because a lot of us are doing, and we forget, how are we being? How are we showing up for ourselves each day at work, or with our spouse, or with our kids, or our friends? And so we're going to talk a bit about that, because it's really important, because it sets the stage for how you take action every day and how you're looking at your vision. So then we'll talk about learning from the past. And to me, this is the most important point. If you get anything out of this video, it's section 3, learning from the past, going back over the last 12 months, the highs and the lows, and what worked and what didn't work. We're going to go deep into that. Then you're going to rate the present. You're going to look at now, how I feel now. And I've got 8 on something called the Wheel of Life. I've got 8 different segments that we'll go through briefly, and I'll just show you how to do this. Now, today isn't about completing your vision, okay? Today is about learning what this process is. And if you can see at the bottom of the screen, it says if you want to get the workbook for this, it's not necessary, but if you want it, you can send an email to ask@madsuccess.com. Otherwise, what you can do is watch the replay and pause and do the exercises and really do them. And the reason I'm doing this isn't because I want to put another video out there. I do this every year. I used to do it with my spouse, but unfortunately we went through a divorce a couple of years ago. And we used to do it together. We used to have a 10-year vision, 5-year vision, 3-year, and so on, which is pretty aggressive. But if you don't know where you're going, if you don't have a vision or direction on where you're going, how do you know where you're going, right? It's like if you don't have a map and you're trying to get somewhere, if you're trying to get to Los Angeles, if you're driving towards Chicago, it's not going to work. So, another analogy would be how, for those sailors out there, being in the middle of the ocean without a rudder, without a sail, and just going to the whims of the currents and the winds, and not really being able to have direction. And if you don't have vision in your life, if you don't have direction on where you want to go, and your family plans or your personal, losing weight, or becoming more in tune with who you are, maybe taking up meditation, or daily exercises. And we'll talk about daily habits in section 4. We're going to go into, in the foundations, we're going to go into healthy habits. But really, it's about getting connected with you and learning from the past so that you can apply it to the present, and then we can create our future, a compelling future where we want to go in our lives. Okay? So I'm just going to click next. So journey of self-reflection. So foundations, let's jump right into it. You are in charge of your life. I'm in charge. No way. Yes, you're in charge. You're in charge of your life. And so what that means ultimately is it's up to you. It's up to you. There's no one coming to rescue you. You're in charge of running your life. And there's a quote from Henry Ford, I think it was, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. Because whatever your mindset is, whatever your focus is, I can't do this, you're right. You're not going to do it. You're not going to achieve it. And so for that, I want to really have you think about the fact that you are your own boss. Yes, you might have a spouse that tells you what to do, or you have a boss at work that tells you what to do, but you're in charge of your state. You're in charge of how you experience the world. You're in charge of your thoughts, your behaviors, and your behaviors then translate into actions, and your actions translate into how you experience the world, how you are showing up as you. Okay? So think about how you're showing up each day. It's up to you to take charge of your life. The second foundational element is who is your inner circle? Who are the people you hang out with? Because they are the people that influence you. The 5 people that you surround yourself with, the 5 key people, whether it's friends or colleagues or family members, how are they in your life for you? Are they negative, low energy, complaining, blaming kinds of people? And I have had some people like that in my life. These are people what we call crabs. I'll just shift screens here. These are what we call crabs. It says here, you're not leaving. If we can't succeed, neither can you. These are people, and this is well known. You can search this on the internet, the crab mentality. Lots of information about this. It's people who pull you back. No, you're not. How on earth can you think that big? How on earth can you think that you could achieve that, right? These people keep us stuck. They stop us from achieving our dreams and achieving our goals, and we don't want to be around them. So as you audit the people in your lives, you've got to look for these kind of negative people that really pull you down. The other kind of people that you want in your life, that you want to surround yourself with, are positive, high-energy doers, right? These are the people that are taking action in their lives. These are the people that are finding success, that have a vision, right? Like what you're here for, to really create a vision for your life. This is what you're doing. Surround yourself with people that take action and have vision and have dreams that they're living towards, right? So I got to take a little drink of water here. Get their advice. Get their advice and surround yourself with these people and model what they do for success. Model how they are achieving their lives, because you can't expect other people to believe in your dreams and vision. Maybe your spouse will, but maybe not. Maybe they don't understand it. And because of that, maybe they're trying to pull you back, saying, no, there's no way that you can achieve that. So don't expect them to understand. Don't expect other people to get it, right? A lot of people don't get what I'm doing. How come you're not working? How come you don't have a job? How come you don't have income? Why are you doing this? Right? But this is my purpose. This is my why. This is my passion. I want to help people to achieve life success on their personal side, their professional side, their financial side. So I'm doing this because I know it will be a success, but I have to keep at it. I have to keep at it, and I take charge, and I don't listen to the naysayers. Right. So the next one is to think bigger. To think bigger. So what does that mean? Well, I've got a few slides for you. To think bigger, think about these people: Bill Gates, Nelson Mandela. Look at guys on this picture here. Guys like Wayne Gretzky, who led in sports. People led in politics. You've got Oprah on there, and all sorts of visionaries, right? They think big. Successful people have bigger problems, and they get bigger results. So start thinking bigger in your life. How can you do that? Right? What is it? It doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're a 20 something, millennial just starting to work, or you're in college right now, or you're in high school. Think bigger, right? Start thinking bigger and looking at how can 2023 be bigger for you, right? How can you have bigger results this year? The fourth of our fundamentals is bold action. Okay. I want you to start thinking about taking bold, uncomfortable action, whatever that means for you. So for me, taking bold action and uncomfortable action was doing a live webinar today. Beginning of my year, the first week, I can tell you it was slow starting. It really was. And this is my year of massive action. Last year was my year of self-love. And and we'll talk about that later, but I really spent time, digging into who I am last year and what I stand for and what I'm all about and what does mad success mean and what am I really doing with this company and how am I serving you, right? And so for this year, and when I looked back on last year, I realized there was a lot of things that I had planned and goals that I wanted personally, professionally, I did not achieve. And so this year, no more excuses, no more messing around, and really clear focus. This is my year of massive action. We're going to go into that in a little bit when we go into the subsequent sections. So bold action is what I want for you this year. Creating an online course, starting a business, leaving a toxic job or a toxic relationship, finding the courage and drive to make these kind of changes. The next one is healthy habits, and this is really important. So the MAD of MAD success stands for mindset, meaning a growth mindset, attitude, it's an attitude of gratitude, and discipline, goal-focused discipline. And these are the three principles that underpin what MAD success is all about. But they underpin how I am resilient as a person, how I've bounced back from job loss or divorce or the death of my parents or other major incidents in my life. And so I put together the concept of mad success based on my personal resilience and how is it that I always am able to bounce back in my life. And I want that for you in your life success, to bring in mindset, attitude, and discipline. And that boils down to our everyday habits. Mindset, choosing a growth mindset, is learning from failure. And we're going to talk about that when we look at reflecting on last year. And then being grateful to your higher power, whether you believe in God or the universal energy or Mother Nature, whatever it is that excites you and motivates you and engages your spirit. Being grateful for everyday little things, technology, me being able to go live like this. We couldn't do this really 20 years ago. Cars, just being grateful for our family and our friends, our being employed. If we're not employed, being grateful for your health. If you're not healthy, well, find other things you're grateful for. Being grateful for the person that designed this glass, the water that you drink, the food that you eat, right? Gratitude is so important. And so when we talk about healthy habits, think about habits that make you feel like you're not in control of your life. Think about the times when you start beating yourself up and your judge comes into play, and we're going to talk about your judge in a few minutes. But when you start really judging yourself and you start beating yourself up because you've been watching Netflix for too long or other TV shows or sports events, you've been eating too much sugar, maybe you drink too much, maybe you've been gaming too long, maybe you're overspending. These are all bad habits. Spending is a bad habit, right? Gaming, yeah, it's fun, but are these things, they're fun in the moment, but they're not progressing your life. And that's a big thing here, because we're here to look at how to create a vision for next year, for this year, and moving forward. But if we're doing things that are not progressing our life, if we're doing things that are impacting us negatively, then we need to stop those things, right? Now we have to look at, well, what are things that empower us? What are things that motivate us and make us feel amazing, and do more of those things, right? And bringing those into your day. And so we want to look at the small kind of daily routines, the daily habits. So my daily habit is merge. It's meditate, exercise, read, and gratitude, and being grateful. So When I meditate, it's about growing my physical presence, it's about growing my being. Um, Meditation for me, and this is a really important one. We're going to talk about judgment and how we hold ourselves back. Meditation has helped me to stop having my negative thought spirals in my head. Really do. When I meditate in the mornings that I do my 10-minute guided meditation, I don't do more than 10 minutes. I just do 10 minutes every day. It helps me to stop having negative thoughts through the day. It really does. And if I miss meditation for 2 or 3 days, I find that I start having, judgment, negativity, judgment of self, others, circumstances, and I need it. And I discovered meditation about probably about 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago in 2017, and it's a really impactful part of my life now. And I need it. I need it every day, just like I need my physical exercise to keep my body healthy. And look, this isn't sustainable all the time. Sometimes we have to just say, "Oh, I'm exhausted." Over Christmas, I'm not proud to say, I put on 15 pounds. It happens. And I allow myself every year, starting from American Thanksgiving right through into the new year, I allow myself, if I want to eat and drink in ways that aren't healthy for me, and I know it, and I spend the next 90 days taking off that weight. And what I do, I wanted to show you this, is I create a 90-day chart, 10 days across, 9 rows down, and I put into it, up at the top here, I have a legend that reads, I put a little abbreviation. So I have M for meditate, R for read, J for journal, G is for gratitude. Did I practice gratitude today? Did I meditate? Have I done my exercise? Am I eating carefully? But I also have my professional one. So if I put a V for video, I put a C for corporate work, M for marketing work. And so I can see every day, I track this, and I can see how I'm progressing towards my goals, towards my vision for this year of taking massive action. That's how I've named this year, my year of massive action. So I use this 4 times a year. I set up a 90-day chart and I monitor, and I can see then, and I go back and review it at the end of the quarter, and I go, okay, did I achieve my goals? And at the very bottom corner here, I don't know if you can see that, but I've put down my 88 kilos, which is my target weight. I'm 100 kilos right now. I'm not proud of that. I am not proud of that. But I put down, we talked about SMART goals earlier, I put down the target, and I know my target weight. And so at the end of every week, I check and I record on here where I'm at with my weight. So when I wrote my manuscript, I wrote a 120,000 word manuscript that I'm turning into a book. I did 1,000 words a day for 100 days. I created a 100-day chart, and I tracked, did I write 1,000 words, and how many words did I write each day? And if I missed a day, that's okay. The next day I did 2,000 words, and I caught up. And I did that all the way through for the 100 days. And I achieved what I wanted to, in fact, a bit more. I did 120,000 instead of 100,000 words. So this is how we look at healthy habits, how we create them. And reading, I've got 8 or 10 books on the go at any given time. And most of them, some are for fun, like John Grisham type books, easy reads, but really fun and exciting. Other ones are history, and a lot of them, though, are personal development and finance books, so that I can be more whole in my business here and how I'm supporting you in life success. So when we look at healthy habits, it's the little things that matter. So think about a spark plug in an engine. If you remove even one spark plug, your engine doesn't start, right? The hinge on a door. If the hinge doesn't work, your door doesn't open. But little things move big things. And so it's the daily small habits that you take on every day that are going to help you move your life and achieve the thinking bigger problems and help you to achieve those bigger solutions. Okay? So number 6, we've got 7, I think. Persist until you succeed. You just don't quit. You're going to hear no. Whether you're job searching or you're doing sales or you're asking someone on a date, people are going to say no to you. But keep persisting until you succeed, and you're going to have the yeses. You're going to hit the milestones. You're going to have someone say yes to you. Look, I did over 60 videos over the last year and a bit on YouTube, and I'm just over 1,000 subscribers. My vision was I'd be at 10,000 by now. Well, I'm not. Okay, so I just have to keep going. I have to keep going and keep pursuing until I get to success. And that could mean I don't get to 10,000 for 3 years. So be it. But my mission isn't about the 10,000 subscribers. It's about putting videos out there. Even if it helps change one person's life, that's what matters to me. I'm here to help people to find new ways, more powerful ways by which to change their life and move their life forward. So you create your bottom line success. It really comes down to you. So persist until you succeed. Okay, so that was the last one. So now we're into section 2. I thought there were 7. Connecting with yourself. It's really about connecting with who you are and who you are when you're at your best. How are you showing up? What is your state? Are you high energy, motivated, focused on success? Or are you low energy, complaining? Are you blaming? We talked about the crab mentality earlier. Are you one of those guys? Or are you the opposite? Are you that high energy? Great emotional state every day. Look, I know it is very difficult. Some days you wake up and you're like, oh, I just went through a major fight at work or with my spouse or what have you, and things are tough and you're down. But you know what? You can choose to change your state. You meditate, you do some exercise, maybe journal, write out what the fuss was all about and clear it from your mind so you can have a great day. I know it's hard, but you have a choice. You can choose to do this. So who are you when you're at your best? And think about that. When you're having a successful day, when you're in flow and you're really making things happen, who are you being in that moment? And think about how you're communicating, how you're thinking, what you're doing that means you're at your best. And then who are you when you're not at your best, right? Are you the crab? What's happening? Are you caught in negative thought spirals, right? So I meditate to try and minimize that. Are you judging yourself or others or circumstances? Are you blaming and complaining? Are you that crab that we've talked about, right? So what's keeping you stuck? What's keeping you stuck? And at the end of the day, for most people, it's fear. It's fear. Yes, it's fear. So not what is fear, but who is fear? Because fear isn't outside of you. Fear is inside you. So who is fear for you? Fear is your judge, okay? Fear is your judge. And so when you have a judge, your judge is that inner voice of negativity, those inner thought spirals, the things that are making you blame and hurt and anger and frustration. That's your judge coming out in various ways. And there's an excellent website, and for my coaching clients, I send them there. It's called positiveintelligence.com. And positive intelligence is it's a place where you can go and learn your saboteurs, 10 saboteurs in your life. Are you a controller? Are you a pleaser? Are you a perfectionist? Are you a hyperachiever? And these are all things that we use to think that we're empowering ourselves. And you can go and see how they sabotage your life at positiveintelligence.com. So your inner judge is that voice of negativity, and it limits you. It limits what you're doing, and it creates self-doubt. Your judge says you're not worthy. That self-doubt, I'm not worthy. That then starts to make you question yourself, and that's where the fear comes from. And it keeps you stuck. That's where it's at. And so fear generated by the judge with questions like these. Is this actually possible? I think I can do this. Could I achieve a vision for 2023? He says that it's possible. We're going through this program, but is it really? I don't know if I can do that. Am I even capable of creating this? Who am I to want something so grand, just to have a vision for the year, a vision for my life, to want more in my life? What if I can't achieve it? What if I can't achieve it? What are people going to think of me if I say that I'm going to do this and I don't, and I fail? You know what? You start over. You start again in that moment, and you say, okay, I can start April 3rd. I can start July 7th to build the rest of my year, or have a 12-month vision from then. Choose July 1st and create your vision from then, and you go from there. So regardless of what people think. Remember, we talked about surrounding yourself with high energy, positive, doer, visionaries as your inner circle. So those are the people that will believe in you, but they may not understand your dream, and that's okay. But we let these fears control us, and that's the thing that we need to be mindful of. Just give me half a sec. Just a sec. There's someone in the other room banging. Apologies for the interruption. This is live. So we let these fears control us. And the problem with that is at the end of the day, it keeps us stuck. And so the first exercise that we're going to get into is what I call fear setting. We're going to set these fears down. We're going to write them out. It's going to take about 10 minutes. We're not going to do it right now. If you want to come back and watch the video, you'll be able to come right to this section, start the exercises. In the description below, I'll put the time slots for each of these. You can just literally go to each exercise and do them on your own time. But as it says at the bottom, if you are just tuning in, if you want the workbook for this and as a guide to work your way through, please just send me an email at ask@madsuccess.com. So what is fear setting? Look, at the end of the day, you've got to ask yourself the question, when it comes to creating my vision, I'm afraid that. When it comes to creating my vision, I'm afraid that. And you need to answer this question for yourself, right? What are you afraid of at the end of the day? What are you afraid of? And you name everything that can be standing in your way, everything that can be holding you back, that can defeat you from achieving your vision for this year. It's things like money. I don't have money. There's people in my life that are just holding me back. I don't think I can do this. Circumstances, fears, doubts, excuses. You want to write it all down. This is the exercise. Identify everything. Every question, every thought, everything that's holding you back, write it all down. Because once you identify all these fears, you can then put them aside. It doesn't mean that they're gone. But while you're doing your Vision 2023 exercise and your future vision exercises, you can put these aside. And you can then focus on what it means to you to be present, to focus on the present, to look at the past, really digging into what worked and what didn't work, looking at your present, and this is what the exercise is, and then creating your vision. Okay, so but you want to identify all your fears, all the things that you think are holding you back, and you know what, there's no opportunities out there, the economy's thinking, all that negativity, anything that you have doubts about that stop you from progressing. If you're in a bad relationship, you're married with kids, and you don't want to hurt the kids, okay, write that down. You know what? I've done everything I possibly can. Have you? Have you really dug into your own issues in your relationship? What are the things what are the fears that hold you back from being a better person in your relationship at home, being a better person at work? Write everything down. Yeah? So by doing this, you relieve your mind of your judge. You relieve your mind of your fears. And this is what's really important. This is what we want to focus on, because you can free yourself from these fears over time, meditation, exercise, and so on. And when you're in a flow state, if you love surfing or you love kiteboarding or you love to knit, when maybe you're watching Netflix, that's the thing. But when you're doing those things, you're not thinking about the negativity or the stress or what have you. You focus in the moment. And that's what we want to get you to here by writing out all these fears, writing out all these judgments, writing out all these things, the blame, and so on that are holding you back, and put them down on paper. If something comes up and you do the exercise, just keep writing it down. And that way you can say, oh yeah, when you're creating, when you're reflecting on last year or you're working on your wheel of life in the moment, you can say, oh, there's a fear. I don't have that on my list. Put it down and then let go. And keep doing the exercise. Okay? So that's what this is for, because once you name them, you can see them for what they are. And they're just lies. They're not real. All of these negative things are either something you're stressing about the past, what went wrong or what happened or what you said that you didn't want to, or you're reading out about the future. You're stressing about the future. What if? What really matters is right now. You're in the moment. It's only ever now. It's only ever now. Yes, you plan for the future. You study for the exam and so on. But you live in the moment, because the more you can do that, the more you're not tied into the negative thoughts in your mind about fearing the future or fearing the past. You understand that? I think you do. So now you can create your vision without these limits. So moving into the next section. So that was the exercise. Really, it's writing out all your fears so that you empower yourself so you can do the rest of this Vision 2023 mission. So now it's time to learn from our past. Okay? To learn from our past means we want to reflect on the past 12 months, right? Reflection is the gateway to wisdom. Reflecting the past is how you learn and grow from what went right and what went wrong, right? So the key is to look at the last 12 months. So the first exercise in this section is step one, is to create two lists, a list of highs and a list of lows. So highs are things like what worked, right? And lows are what didn't work. And so we can talk about on the lows. Let's start with the lows. You can ask yourself questions like, what did you not do that you said you would last year? What did you procrastinate on? What did you not even start? What did you not finish? Right? What area did you pretend that you did the work? You said, I tried everything, but did you really? No, you probably didn't. There's so many other things you could have done. What did you avoid? Who did you have a big fight with? What exam did you fail? You know, maybe you're going for your driver's license and you didn't get it. And so were bummed out about that, and you kind of beat yourself up, right? I know some young people that went through that last year. So you're looking at the highs and lows. On the highs, you're asking yourself, well, what went right? What uncomfortable action did I take? What are you proud of? What were your accomplishments? The big ones and the little ones. Give yourself credit for all your successes, even if they were just little. And especially the micro ones, because the micro ones help us build our confidence, help us build motivation and direction and courage and fuel us to be better people and to be doing more impactful things in our lives. And so as you start creating those lists, I have a couple of hints on how to do this. One way is to start first by just closing your eyes like you're meditating and reflect on last year before you start. You reflect on the year and you just think about it, close your eyes, spend maybe 5 minutes and really look at, the highs and the lows of the years, the things that really stuck out for you. And the things that really stuck out are the most powerful. There's a lot of emotion tied into them and a lot of learning that can be done, both for the highs and the lows. Why did it go so well? Why did I feel so amazing? How did I get into flow? What led up to that? And then the lows. Well, why did I say that? What triggered me to have that reaction, to really yell at that person, right? You want to go through those moments. And then the other hint for you, and this is what I do after I do my quiet reflection, I often forget a lot what happened last year, especially, maybe on a single day there was an event, I just don't remember it. So I go through my calendar. I go back to January 2022, and I went right through the year and saw all the different things, the travel I did in the summer with my kids back to Canada, up to Whistler and places. And I look at my photos. I go into my iPhone and I look at all my photos from last year and go, wow, I can see all those memories. The hikes I did with friends, and going out on a boat, and a really fun day with some friends that I just forgot about. You can't remember everything. So these are a really great way to help yourself to really look back and reflect on your past year. So once you've done that, once you've got this list of highs and lows, you now want to, and this is the most important part of this whole vision planning, is what lessons did you learn? Really, really important. So you go into this and you want to review the list of highs and lows and make a list of the lessons learned for each one. Now, some of them you go, oh, I didn't learn anything about. Well, really? You're out on a boat, let's say, or you're at a friend's house party or a dinner party. What did you learn? You had a great time, but did you overdrink maybe? Did you say something to someone that kind of turned off and they walked away, but you still had a great time? What are some of the things that you can glean from each of these highs and lows? So I went through and looked at all of mine and things I said or things I did or how I was saving, or you know. And so what I want for you is to really look through that. And this is where the meat of this whole program is how you learn, so that you don't repeat the same things going through, tomorrow and next week, the next month, and throughout this year, right? You want to learn from the past. That's where the growth mindset comes in. We learn from the highs, but we learn from our mistakes. And we don't beat ourselves up. And look, it happened. It's in the past. And right here, right now, it's a fresh day, fresh moment. And I can learn from that and really understand it. Maybe you need to go and take a course. Maybe you need to do some coaching. I'd be happy to help you with that. Maybe you need to, apologize to somebody. Maybe you need to just quit the job. Whatever it is, you want to reflect, so that you can learn, so that you can really have a powerful future going forward. So some helpful questions to ask are, what would I have done differently given the chance? How has it changed me? Why was it so memorable? Why did I react? How was I triggered? These are some basic questions you can ask yourself. There's all sorts. It's unlimited. These are to give you a bit of a hint and a guide on how to look at these, so you can start reflecting. So reviewing the past helps you decide who you want to be going forward. Who do you choose to be as a person for yourself? So last year was my year of self-love, and it was a powerful year. And that's when I really focused on my daily habits, because I need exercise. I need meditation. I journal most days, but not every day. I don't need it as much, but it's a great process to do. Uh, but I'm grateful every day. I rediscovered God last year. It was really powerful for me. I'm not a religious person, but I'm very spiritual, and I really believe in the universal energy. And I discovered universal energy from Mother Nature to Earth, and being out in nature is huge for me. It's one of my major self-love tools, is going out for a hike. I live 60 seconds from a surf beach, and I go and sit on the beach and just listen to the waves and watch the people, enjoy the day, and it just re-energizes me. It rejuvenates me. If I've had a tough moment or a tough day, I go down there and it just purges me of the negativity, and I can sit there and meditate or read, and I need that. What do you need? What are the things in your life that help you to recharge and recover? Because those are things, that's part of, really looking at, how are you loving yourself? How are you giving yourself loving kindness and really looking after yourself? And that's why we create a vision. It's not always about goal setting, doing. No. Who are you being for you? How are you loving yourself and being kind, being compassionate? This is what's really important. We want to decide who we want to be going forward. Okay, so those are the exercises. So now we're into the next session. We're on 42 minutes here, I noticed. So there's not too much more to go. There's 3 more sections, but they're not that long. So bear with me, stick with me. And again, if you want the workbook, then please send an email to ask@madsuccess.com. And if you're just tuning in, or you don't have the workbook, and you're watching the replay, it's okay. Just stop the video at any point and do the exercises. All right. So rate the present. This next section is about where you are today. And it's all about living in the moment and rating your life on 8 different sections of your life in what's called the wheel of life. And we'll go into that. And it's looking at family and career and so on. But I put the exercise up on the screen, and it's complete the wheel of life. It'll take you about 10 minutes. So there are 8 sections to the wheel of life. You start in the upper right-hand corner. You've got something called activities, right? That's travel, fun, and recreation, and so on. How much of that do you have in your life? During COVID, I would say for most people, that was probably down at a 2. If you were locked in at home, okay, maybe you loved watching Netflix or what have you. But for a lot of people during COVID, they rated activities as a 2 or a 3. So the way this works, there's 8 quadrants. The innermost circle is at 0, but the first circle is number 1, and it's the lowest in terms of satisfaction in your life. The outermost circle is a 10, and that's the highest satisfaction in your life. If you rate something a 10, it couldn't possibly be better. Now, I've never seen anyone rate anything a 10, because there's always room for improvement in any area of your life. But there are 8 areas. So money is the next one, sense of purpose or North Star direction in your life, something that's really meaningful for you? How is that serving you? Your relationships, external, your love interest, your friends and your family, your home, your location. How do you feel about that? Maybe you have roommates if you're a bit younger and you're sharing a place and they're Slavs. My daughter went through that at college this year. One of her roommates just, yeah, didn't pull her weight, so to speak. So the next one is business and career. How would you rate that? Your health. Now, generally, this is physical health, but it can also be mental, emotional, and spiritual. So how do you rate your overall health? And then the last one is your inner relationship for yourself. How do you, your self-belief, your self-worth, how are you growing? What is your self-love rating like? How are you looking after yourself? Are you being kind to yourself on a regular basis? Or do you beat yourself up all the time? So all of these you want to rate on a scale of 1 to 10. And so a completed example would look like this. You've written down, okay, so under activities, this person rated it a 7. And so they put a line over the 7. And so you can see as a wheel, it's not a very stable wheel. There's room for improvement. And if this was a wheel going along on the road, it'd be a pretty bumpy ride, right? And so there's lots of room for improvement in here. And so then once you do the wheel of life, the last thing to do is to rate your overall quality of health. And you do that by counting up the 8 numbers, adding them all together, and then dividing by 8 because there's 8 sections, right? So the average for this person is 7, right? They had 3 areas that were number 8, they had 3 areas that were number 6, and they had 2 areas that were 7, and that added up and divided by 8 equals 7. So their overall quality of life is actually pretty good. A 7 out of 10 is not bad. I've myself, some years ago, I can't remember the exact number, but I was a 4 or a 5. Things were crap. My life was in the toilet. And I was not a happy camper 7 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. And so I've been doing this for a while. And this is a very powerful exercise because it helps you to take a snapshot of where your life is today. The whole point of the wheel of life is to kind of look at your whole life, the overall quality of your life, and then to say, okay, if money is rated a 6 and offsetting that is your business and career is a 6, well, how will you improve that to a 7 or an 8 or a 9? The whole idea here is when you look at where you are on these different sections in your life, is to then say, okay, well, what is my vision? How can I move these? And it's not going from a 3 to a 10 this year. No, it's not practical. But how could you go from say you rated something a 4 and you wanted to go to a 6? That's a 50% improvement, right? That's a huge improvement. So when you want to move in your life from a 4 to a 6, how do you do that? And that's what you're going to build into, and we'll talk a bit about more of this when we plan our vision for this year. That's what the way you need to think about the wheel of life is, okay, I've rated it a 3 or 4 or 5, and especially anything under 6 means there's a lot of room for improvement. If you're a 6 or a 7, it's like, it's okay, it's not pretty good, not great, but it's okay. But there's still room for improvement. So how could you go from a 6 to a 7 or a 7 to an 8? What does that mean for you, right? I think you get that. So that's the exercise. That's this whole chapter. So the next section, the second last section, is to create your future. Now, I said the most important section for me really is the lessons you learned from last year. Well, now you want to apply them. You've now created a base by which you recap. We looked at our fears. We're going to set our fears aside, and we're going to create an amazing vision for a most compelling future for this year. And we've identified our fears. We've reviewed the past. We've learned some lessons, and now we've rated the present. So now it's time to move forward. Okay? So the first exercise here is to visualize yourself 1 year from now. You've just lived your best year ever. You've laid out your vision. You've had a phenomenal year. So now here you are on January 11th or 12th of 2024, and you've just had the most incredible year. You're doing your visualization, and you're going to do your vision 2024 next year, but you look back on 2023, and it was your best year ever. Well, what does that mean for you? You just lived it, and allow yourself now to close your eyes, and you visualize when you do this exercise. Take you about 5 minutes, maybe you extend it 10 minutes and you really think what it means to you to have this phenomenal year. Give yourself the opportunity now. Put all the fears aside. If the fears come up, stop, write out the fear. It's okay. You're not serving me right now. Right now, I'm creating my life and creating my future. I'm designing my life. Fear and judge, piss off. And don't have them there. Write them out and say, thank you very much, but you're not serving me. And focus on your visualization. Go back to it and allow yourself to see it. Where will you be, 12 months from now? Who will you be? How have you changed and matured and grown? What have you learned? What have you achieved? What what was it? What makes it the best year ever? Did you take a trip? Did you get married? Did you change jobs? Did you get out of some toxic relationships at work? You moved departments, whatever it is. Maybe you ran across the states, or you cycled across the U.S., or you did a really, maybe like myself, you took up scuba diving and you achieved different levels. So what is it for you? What would make it your best year ever? And if you're watching the replay, just pause the video and do these exercises and then continue on. So part of that, now once you've had the visualization, write down the details. This is how you're going to start formulating what your vision's going to be like. And it doesn't have to be in any order. Write it down. Take everything down. Maybe when you're doing the visualization, you want to record yourself and just speak it out loud. And then you can go back so you don't forget things. You can then write it out after you've recorded it. That might be a helpful hint, something to do. Yeah. So you're going to write down the details, and that'll probably take you maybe 10, 15 minutes. The second step then is why. Why you want to go where you are to what this compelling future is. You need to find an emotional reason, emotional connection to each of the elements of your vision. Why is that so important to you? What is it about, that which you want to achieve in your compelling future? What is it about it that's so important? What could it do for you and your family? And what difference would it make in your life? You want to write those things down, okay? And then you want to talk about how. Once you've got the why, once you've got the information, you've got the why you want it and the emotional connection, then you talk about the how. The how doesn't come first. The how is last. Once you have the why with a compelling why, you can achieve any how. So how will you get there? Who do you need to be? What needs to change? What do you need to learn or do? And who can help you? Right? So these are the things that you want to kind of ask yourself so that you can start putting this into your vision and into your plan on how you want to design your life for this year. Then you're going to write down, well, what will my life be like if I don't change? What will my life be like if I don't create new habits? What will my life be like if I don't give myself self-love and if I continue to listen to my negative thoughts and my judge? What if I let my fears continue to control me? And write this down. What is the worst case scenario? What's going to happen if you don't change and you're unhappy at the end of 2022? Well, if you're unhappy at the end of 2023, why? You have an opportunity now to design your future, to create a compelling future. Will you achieve all your goals? No, probably not. And that's okay. But at least now you're creating direction and you know why you're doing it, what matters to you, what's important, right? And then we go back to the wheel of life and we imagine ourselves 12 months from now. Okay, what are those areas in the wheel of life? How are they rated now? If I was a 4 in money, now I'm a 6 or a 7. Well, what does that mean? How did I get there? What did I do to achieve that? And why is that important to me? What's it going to do for my kids' education and being able to pay for university or whatever it is, right? To actually pay for the wedding without stress, to pay off your debt so you can reduce your financial stress. What are the things that you want to achieve? And that's just one bucket, the money bucket, but it's a big one for so many people. What do you need to change and improve at work? How can you change your attitude or perspective towards your boss? Could you sit your boss down? You've had an awful relationship with this person for a year. Okay, can you sit them down and just go, hey, our relationship sucks. And it really bothers me every day, and I love working here, and I really respect what you do, but our relationship isn't positive. I want to change that and take them for lunch and have that uncomfortable conversation. take uncomfortable action. Make big change in your life this year, right? And that's where you go. You set this wheel of life for 12 months from now as part of your vision. You go, that's where I want to go. That's what I want to achieve. That's the difference I want to make in my life. And you work towards that. So then you can compare them and you have a gap. There's a gap between where you are. There's a gap between, where you want to get to. And so we want to work on that gap. And so with each category, hopefully you're moving higher. Hopefully you didn't set your category lower than what you did when you rated the present. But aiming for 10s is not realistic. Aiming for 10s is not realistic. And moving, as I mentioned, from a 4 to a 6, that's a 50% improvement. 50%, that's huge, right? If you're a 2 and you move to a 4, phenomenal, 100% improvement. That's massive over the course of a year. Right? You can't expect to move from a 10 to an 8 or from a 2 to an 8. I just don't see how that's possible. Maybe, but be more realistic. Set realistic goals. That's part of SMART, right? SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, and the R is realistic. You want realistic change in your life on this wheel of life, right? So you are at this gap, and so you want to really think about how you can create life success, how you can make these changes to be a better version of yourself. How are you improving? How are you being over the course of the next year? What are the things you need to be doing over the course of the next year? And certainly, if coaching is part of that, I'd love to be part of your journey. I'd love to help facilitate. We can go way into much more detail on this coaching together. So that's something to think about. So if you've created a vision now, we want to theme our year. And this is the very last section. We're almost at an hour. I said I'd keep it to 45 minutes, and I'm a little bit long-winded here, so apologies for that. We're at 56 minutes according to my clock. This is the last thing. It'll take 2 minutes. So you want to theme your year. You want to create a theme for your year. And so with that, what I want to have you think about, so my year last year was my year of self-love. My year this year is a year of massive action. And they're very different. But last year was all about really figuring out who I am and who I'm being in my life for myself, my family, my friends. And I've taken massive strides in self-love, being compassionate, and getting rid of as much as possible that voice of negativity, the judge. And I have a very strong judge of myself, others, circumstances. And last year was so powerful for me. I'm very grateful for that. I really focused on that. With God's love and support, I really was able to move myself forward in self-love. And this year now, it's about massive action for me. And I'm really clear about what I want to do. I want to go live every week. And I'm putting that out there and keeping myself accountable. You'll find me here every week. And even if it's only helping one person, I'm okay with that, and I'm going to keep going. But most of the other lives will be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, one topic, talk about one thing, and then I'll jump off. But today was an actual webinar. It's a course. So you want to theme your year. What's your year going to be about? You reflected on the past. You're looking at the present. You're looking at your vision. What's going to be a compelling theme for you that is a reminder that will help anchor in your vision? And you can post that up on your mirror at your bathroom or wherever, on your fridge or wherever you'll see it, on the dashboard of your car. My theme is, year of self-love, or whatever it is. And it'll motivate you and inspire you to remind you, you put all this work into creating your vision, and now you know where you're headed, right? And then through that, you can start setting goals. As I said, this isn't a goal-setting exercise. It's a vision creation exercise, and you will figure out the how. The how is the easy part. It really and truly is, but it's doing all this other work. So we create this theme. It's an anchor to remind us of our best year vision. And now, my friends, there's time for questions. So I'm just going to go over to YouTube and have a look and see, what questions there are. And there's not too many. In fact, I'd say there's none. You haven't sent in any questions, and I'm okay with that. We're approaching 1 hour on this video anyway. So my final slide is thank you for attending. I really genuinely appreciate you being here. I appreciate your support to the Mad Success YouTube channel and to my business. And I hope that you have found this webinar today to be beneficial, and I hope it helps compel you to an amazing future for 2023. So thank you very much. All the very best, and signing out for now, and we'll see you live next week on Master Your Money. Cheers.